Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. We're unboxing Commander 19, C19 as it were, and I've already done two, so let's do this Faceless Menace here and see what this is all about. Face down creature. So this is the Morph deck. It looks like I don't know. I have never, or well, I have yet to embrace the whole morph mechanic. It's just not something I've you know I guess I'm not smart enough to make that work. Let's see here. I think it's on the back side. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. And let's do it this way. Drop it in and focus on it. Okie dokie. We have. Well, I got it real close. I'm just 4 mana, black, green, blue, Sultai? Is that Sultai? 3/3, not a wizard. The first face down creature spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast. And since we know that's what morph cost is 3, you get a free morph every turn. So obviously we want the ability to play cards on everybody else's turn so that we can get a free morph on every single person's turn. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So, wow. So this is almost like Allure and Recycle, maybe. I mean, obviously, Allure and Recycle can go in the deck, but let's see. It's not per se infinite, as it were. Its value that you can do it every turn. I mean, you're playing blue, so you've got access to the ley line and the Ore, if that's your jam, to be able to do it. A morph on everybody's turn. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control. So that also would work with when you manifest, because that's a face-down creature. So anytime you manifest, you would draw cards. We have Rayami, First of the Fallen. 5/4 for 4. If a non-token creature would die, exile it with a blood counter instead. As long as an exiled creature with a blood counter on it has flying, this has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So, like all of the relevant abilities. Evergreen abilities. The evergreen abilities. That's... so, if a non-token creature would die... Oh! It's not just yours. So you can, like, run this in, like, removal heavy deck and just, like... it turns your Doomblades and Murders and stuff into exile spells. So, yeah, if a non-token creature would die, it doesn't say you control, you exile it with a blood counter on it. So, gotta find a way to destroy a Chroma. Oh, yeah, Plummet, because she ain't pro-green. But yeah, this is kind of neat. I love the Smurf cards. You know, I call them Smurf, the share and share alike, where like the white legend from a while back. Look who got a new card, Mr. Vollrath. Now the first Vollrath was not bad, but let's look at this one. 5 mana, 7/5. So we're still 7/5, huh? At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Okay, so we're just going to pass out a minus counter somewhere. That's cool. Until your next turn, Vollrath becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it except it's 7/5 and has this ability. Whoa, baby. Notice that doesn't say -1/-1 counter. So, so you copy a Hydra Vollrath becomes a copy of target creature. So, hold on. No, because you don't get the... I was going to say, if you clone a creature with counters on it, you don't get the counter. Okay, so never mind. Scratch that. So, how do we bust him wide open? Until your next turn, it becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it. So that is +1 counters, minus counters, divinity counters, charge counters for artifact creatures, maybe. That which was taken passes out divinity counters, makes them indestructible. Target creature becomes a copy of target creature. I'm guessing something with like double strike. That way you have a double striking 7 power commander. I don't know. There's something more here than that. There's something more here than is popping in my head at this moment. And I'm sure I'll have time to digest it before now and building this deck. But I love Vollrath, love this art. And that's exactly what he did. He replaced, what was it, Takara, Stark's daughter, on the Weatherlight? Or he replaced somebody. Yeah, and just rode around in the Weatherlight. And that's when Krovax and Urtai were kind of duking it out to see who would be the new Evencar of Wrath. And the Vollrath card was outstanding because he said, I did not step down. I stepped out. So we got SAP tokens. We have I guess there is manifest cards in there. Man, look at that assassin. That's a good looking assassin token. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Oh, and there's 3 of them. Bet I know what card's in the deck. Groovy little plant token. Man, it looks like a plant's going to eat you. And a snake. It's good snake art. Okay, we have another copy of Leadership Vacuum. Pretty cool. Myron Misery. Those are new cards, but we saw them in the other 2 decks is the reason why I just kind of, plowed right through them. And I love that flavor text. Misery loves company. Okay, Voice of Many. This is our first time seeing this one. 4 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. Huh. So when it enters the battlefield, this ability triggers and goes onto the stack. It's already on the battlefield. So if you play it to an empty board, you would draw a card. I mean, I don't know. It's an Elf Druid. It's green card draw. So if you play it to an empty board, it's a 3/3 Harmonize. For Harmonize mana. Okay. Scaretiller's back again. Echoing Truth. It's a good card. Especially anti-tokens. Reality Shift. Tezzeret's Gambit. Willbender. Skin Thinner. All these have Morph or Megamorph or something. Antioch Survivalist. Cultivate. I'm glad Cultivate exists. I don't know that I've ever covered this, but Cultivate is an answer to a problem. And the problem was how we can't reprint Kodama's Reach because, it's a named place in Kamigawa and it's arcane that they don't really do outside of Kamigawa. So, but it was such a good utility card, so it actually took them a while to come up with Cultivate. By the way, I'm running Cultivate in my Rings deck. There's a blue-green Rings deck that I'm making. And by the way, no cards from this set that are blue or green or colorless have rings in the art. Besides Cultivate. And I've already got it in the deck. So, anyway. I'll have to punch in some of the new cards, see if I can come up with song titles too, because I'm really close to finishing that deck. Explore. Farseek. Great Oak Guardian. What is that? I don't know that I've ever read this card. Flash Reach. Enters the battlefield. Creatures target player controls get 2/2 until end of turn. Untap them. Huh. The Vigilante. Secure Tribe Elder. Now, what is that a potato on the side of his head? Or, I don't know what that is. Ice Feather Aven. Putrefy. Secret Plans. I have a bunch of secret plans, actually. I think I've got, 70 of them? Sultai Charm. Urban Evolution. Love that card. Really, I do. So, whoa, what a pizza. That's a Thran Dynamo. Yeah. We got 4 islands is what's next. I think that island we haven't seen, but we have seen that island. Now it looks like we're into some new stuff. Kadena Silencer. 2 mana, 2/1, Naga Wizard. When it's turn faced up, counter all abilities your opponents control. So really, it's just going to probably do 1. Sudden Submission. Split Second is back, baby. Yeah. I love that ability. Back in the day, we used to have interrupts. And interrupts were... I mean, after a while, you understood how it worked, but once you tried to explain it to the new player you were teaching how it worked, it was like, yeah. Split Second is really probably as functionally close as they can actually get inside the rules to the way interrupt was back then. But I like that it's on the stack. It can't be, effectively Split Second means it can't be countered. As long as the spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So, now the beautiful part about about Morph is a special action that does not use the stack. So you can morph in response to, Split Second. So that's neat. But anyway, exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. The creature spell. The spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So, say I have this, and I've got a creature, and I want to trade it for your big flashy spell. So, what is the live in the dream here? Is that Omniscience? When they go to cast Omniscience, you're like, hey, I'd like an Omniscience. You can have my Thieving Magpie, or my Moldrifter I've already drawn the 2 cards off of. Over at the Commander Cookout podcast. I listened to that actually on the way home today. And they were talking about an overloaded Rift. Because you get the creature, you give them back. That's funny. Thought Sponge. 4 mana, 1/1. Flash. I'm already loving it, right? If those were only ring shapes on the... enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the greatest number of cards an opponent has drawn this turn. Oh, and when it dies, you get to draw cards? That's cool. This is actually really good. It's got Flash, so... I think this definitely has applications, especially in the 1/1 counter Simic style decks, because somebody always has the consecrated, not so much consecrated Sphinx, but greatest number of cards an opponent's drawn this turn. I guess you could make sure of it with like prosperity things or Wheel of Fortune type things. Gift of Doom. Boy, that sounds cool. 5 mana aura. Enchanted creature has death touch and indestructible. Where have you been all my life? Morph sack a creature? When it's... Oh, this is sweet! So, you pay 3 mana, and this is just a 2/2 nothing. And you sacrifice another creature at instant speed because it does not use the stack, so you're swinging with something, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to sack this token, this zombie token, to put the Gift of Doom on my commander that you just blocked, and now it's indestructible and death touchy. And I like the Gift of Doom. Thieving Amalgam, 7 mana, 6/7/8 snake. Okay. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest the top card of that player's library. Huh. There's a Orcish Spy is the old card where you just looked at the top card of target player's library. So that was, I guess you could, do Orcish Spy type effects where you could make sure you get a creature so that you can, well, no. Turn it face up at any time for its mana cost, so you got to have the colors. So you need to run any color lands if you're going to run this so that you can morph the creatures that you're stealing. Whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, its owner loses 2 and you gain 2. Huh. Neat. Apex Altasaur, 9 mana, 10/10. You have my attention, sir. When it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. In rage. It's dealt damage, it fights up to 1 creature you don't control. But when you cast it, it's going to fight something, and then, oh, that's the idea. Okay. So it's 9 mana. Because as soon as you fight something, it triggers the Enrage. So you're going to fight something else, which triggers Enrage again. And isn't there like a Fungosaur enchantment? Because Fungosaur, whenever it takes damage, it gets a 1/1 counter. Because it seems like you could... Because you don't want this guy to die, per se. I mean, it's you spent 9 mana on a 10/10. Although this is roughly the same cost as Ingarrick's Wake, so... I can understand what they mean by when they say this is Green's one-sided board wipe, but I really don't want to lose my 10/10. We'll figure it out. Road of Return. Double green. Choose one. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's not as good as a regrowth, but it's what is that, revive or something? Or put your commander into your hand from the command zone. Whoa! And it has Entwine. I like it, because how many times has the table killed your commander so much that you're like, man, I can't cast it anymore. We have Griswold, the Dreadsower. By the way, these are in order. So 3 mana, 3/3. Trample. At the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. Whenever a creature token dies, put a 1/1 counter on Griswold. I've already started building this deck. It's awesome. Nantuko Shrine is ballin'. So, yeah, look that card up. We're going to murder some squirrels, especially with Knight of Souls Betrayal. It's disgusting. And maybe even, the Stowaway from Dalinara that's also red, or that's black and green. Oh, help me. The Fungus Among Us. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Pendant of Prosperity. Do all these weird artifacts do something weird? I guess, yeah, or else they would be weird artifacts. So 3 mana, Pendant of Prosperity enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. Why do I want to spend 3 mana and give it away? 2 mana, tap. But this is not us, this is whoever controls it. Draw a card, landfall, and then its owner draws a card and it landfalls. Okay. So it's a really good deal for them because they get to draw a card and make a land drop for 2 mana. So it's so tempting of a deal, they probably can't not do it, and which is going to help you as well. So 2 players are going to ramp. under the control of an opponent, so you can't abuse this in 2HG. So you make a deal with somebody. Yeah. I'm going to put this Pennant of Prosperity. I'm going to cast it. I'm going to put it on the stack. And it's time to talk deals now. Huh. Scroll of Fate. 3-minute. Manifest a card from your hand. That seems pretty decent. I mean, I don't even like the manifest mechanic, but that seems... I don't know. That's all it does. Ghastly Conscriptions a reprint. Deathmist Raptor. Hooded Hydra. Hey, we saw this one coming from the Assassins. Vraska also. I've really... Tell you what. I'm going to look back, since all of these have... This is the third deck. All of these decks have one walker in them, and is it just me, or am I floored that they're not using the legendary border on the walkers? I don't know. It seemed like they did at one time. Chrome Shell Crab. I'm told that's new art. Ixodron. Now, Ixodron, turn all other non-token creatures face down. This is a board wipe from way back. Kira Spell Snatcher, Stratus Dancer, Thousand Winds, Vesuvian Shapeshifter I like, Bane of the Living, Grim Haruspex, Hex. I love Hex. I love it, love it. Nobody ever sees Hex coming. And yeah, Damnation's cheaper, I know. Well, it's a cast anyway. Suringar Assassin. Den Protector. I'm proud to see that one too. Overwhelming Stampede. Back to back, are we? Seedborn Muse. This is a good... I mean, we all love this card. We found out that this is about the limit that they'll let us have, because once you tack on another ability, it becomes ban-worthy, apparently. Which is fine. That other card needed to go. But Seedborn, really, really good. But, I mean, back-to-back with Seedborn is Tempt with Discovery. And it's been a while since I've said this. If any opponent plays a Tempt with fill in the blank, I don't care what it is, don't be tempted. Don't ever do it. Expropriate's the worst one. Let them have a permanent, because once they... I do play a lot of big games. And depending on who cast it, the turn order, you choose in turn order, and you know what? If the table's already given them 3 or 4 turns, it's kind of really disheartening. You're like, well, it doesn't kind of matter now. I can give them a permanent, but they're already going to win because they're already taking 4 turns in a row. Or I can give them a 5th turn. Yeah, that truly is the Kobayashi Maru. So it's up to you, first person that chooses after the caster of Expropriate. I don't know how I got off on Expropriate while looking at Tempt. Well, I guess that's how. Anyway. Squirrels! Squirrels! Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not squirrels. It's sapperlings. I was thinking way back like Squirrel Prison. Trail of Mysteries, Biomass Mutation, Bounty of the Luxa, Segu Mauler. Stratic Resonator. That's a neat include. We don't really see that a lot. I remember me not liking this card when it was first printed, simply because we play a fantasy game, and if you try hard enough, you can tell a story through your gameplay. And I was like, this has nothing to do with a Vorthos story point at all. This is just making a card to make a card, because we've never had that ability on a card. And I was like, but you know what? You get over that real quick once you play it a couple times, and you're like, I can do what? Yeah. Filter lands. Those are nice. Exotic Orchard. Yeah, I guess it is in every deck. Llanowar Waste. That's a good one. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. Sunken Hollow. Another of the dual land type. Thespian Stage. What? Thespian Stage? What are we going to copy? Yavimaya Coast. There's that island swamp. We've looked at those. Forest. There's only 2 different kinds of forest. We're going to skip the rest of them. There's an Ash Barrens. A Bojuka Bog. Now this thing, I remember these being, because they were, I think they've always been common, but they were like stupidly cheap, and now they're like $1 or so a piece. I guess because they're, I like to use them, especially with bounce lands, so I get another use out of them. Command Tower, Aqueduct, Wilds, Orchard, Golgari Gate, the Rot Farm, Jungle Hollow, Myriad Landscape is in every deck, Opulent Palace, Reliquary Tower. That's nice. Growth Chamber, Cynic Gate, Temple, False God, Terramorphic, Thornwood, Woodland Stream. I didn't really see a land in there that I cared about copying with Thespian Stage. Maybe I'm wrong. Either that, or maybe they put the Dark Depths in there and changed it at last minute. I don't know. So we got 1, 2, 3, and I believe somewhere back here, Griswold. So every deck has every deck has 3 foils and 1 other commander that is not all the colors, apparently, because we had Gerard, and then we had Carrick, and now we have Griswold. So that is 4 new legends per deck. I love these sidload perfect fits. They are supposedly easier to mess with, and the reason why they are is because the pro fits you do upside down typically before you put them in your deck protector. See how easy that went in? You didn't have to fight because you're putting it in an upside down sleeved card. That sleeve is going to budge on you sometimes, but these are so new and tight that it's pretty snug. So that's 2 sleeves. The commanders, obviously, y'all know that I triple sleeve those because the commanders I want to stand out on the table, and that's why I use these character guard sleeves here with the scrolling around it. And also, it stands out and it looks, like, I'm the commander. And also, because sometimes I get in such a big hurry to shuffle up for the next game, I will shuffle my commander into the deck, and I'm like, oh man, now I got to look through 100 cards. Well, this way, they're not. So that's the 4 commanders out of this deck. So I'll put it over here with the others, showing my messy, messy desk here. So we got 1 left. I do appreciate y'all watching. You may not be watching them in the order that I've done them, but hey, we're trying. I appreciate you watching, and we will see you in a little bit.